Okay, so hopefully this is a video that can help you decide whether you should buy an iPhone 13 Pro Max or wait for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So we're going to start with the specs of the iPhone 13 Pro Max that came out or was released September 24th, 2021. So just going based off of that, the iPhone 14s will be announced probably pretty soon and will be released late September. So right now we're looking at 2 months and 20 days because I'm recording this July 4th. So why wouldn't you just wait? Is my thinking. Like the phone I currently have is the 12 Pro Max, and my main gripe with it is the battery life. Like once again, after 2 years, I'm having to basically charge the dang thing twice a day now, just because I record videos on it and use it to watch YouTube videos. I mean, what don't you use your phone for, right? So the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch diameter screen, which I believe is about as big as this one. 12 megapixel camera. I hope that the iPhone, like Apple, decides to finally increase it. Like they've been stuck on an 8 megapixel selfie camera and then a 12 megapixel back camera for the longest time, and it seems their innovation on the camera wise is just adding more cameras. I mean, I'd rather have a more powerful camera, but that's me. It had 6 gigabytes of RAM. And the Apple A15 Bionic chip. I think they're going to keep the RAM the same. I'd say the functionality, I mean, it might be a little faster, but you probably wouldn't notice much of a difference unless you're playing like high-end apps and whatnot. I mean, I'm not sure how much RAM the iPhone 12 Pro Max had. Oh, okay, so this phone that I have also has 6 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, they just say they update the chip, right? So the main thing that I'm really hoping for is the continued improvement on the battery life. So like the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a battery capacity. It's a lithium ion, which that's just standard for a smartphone nowadays. It has a milliamp hour of 4,352. Let me see what the iPhone 12 Pro Max battery size. Yeah, so the iPhone 12 Pro Max had one of 3,687 milliamp hours. So if Apple like brought that up to 5,000 milliamp hours, I mean, I can just imagine like, okay, here's a good representation. I guess that is a pretty good example of how like a good stress test for an iPhone camera is. So I was playing XCOM 2, what was that, Friday night or Saturday night, and I charged this phone up to 80%, and I was able to record 2 hours and 21 minutes worth of gameplay footage with this camera. So like if they brought it up to like 5,000 milliamp hours, that would obviously allow me, like, let's say it was at a 80% charge or whatever. Um, Maybe I could record up to 3.5 hours or even 4. I mean, it also depends on the life of your battery, right? I mean, every time you're supposed to let your battery whittle down to 0%, let the dang thing die, and then recharge it, right? But I highly doubt many people do that. I mean, that's another thing I hate about these stress tests is like, they're in optimal conditions and whatnot, but like, when throughout your day is it going to be like that? Like, when are you going to be in an air conditioned building? I mean, most of the time, it's going to be, you're outside, it's 95 degrees out, depending on where you live, or it's like, I've actually gotten like heat notifications on this phone once or twice where like the temperature was too high, so the phone like just shut itself off, which I think is good, right? Because otherwise the phone just overheats and melts or whatever, right? The circuitry or whatever. And that's the thing with your iPhone is like, unless you get the Apple Care Plus or whatever, like you can't really repair these. Like, they've done so much to the innards and like your ability to repair it and whatnot is just out the window, and it's probably better just to cut your losses and buy a new phone. But you should also like buy a pretty dang hard case. I mean, for God's sakes, this was $10 on Amazon. The phone was like $1,200, so you don't have to buy a $50 phone case from like Target or whatever. Just go on Amazon and type in iPhone 14 Pro Max military grade cases. It's also nice to have this shutter because it protects the camera, because otherwise your cameras are going to get a lot of dirt and crap on them. So okay, so the rumored features of the iPhone 14 Pro Max are a 6.1 and 6.7 inch screen size, so the same size as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, like this phablet size or whatever. No notch, a pill-shaped camera cutout, a hole punch cutout, an A16 chip, and a Qualcomm X65 modem. So I really think that they're going to push the camera up to 16 or 20 gigabyte or megabyte camera. I mean, you can already record some pretty awesome footage, I guess, on these, because they do have the option to record in 4K 60 frames per second. By the way, buy the 512 or 1 terabyte model. Stupid me, I bought the 250. This is a 256 gigabyte. I am so tired of having to go through my videos and photos all the time just to clear up space. I mean, like, once by accident, my co-host and I were playing Black Ops 4 Zombies, and we were I was recording in 4K. That was a 40 gigabyte video for 1 hour of footage. That took me 3 hours to upload. And that's like on the best Wi-Fi network I have access to. Because I think that like that gigabyte size that, like if you swipe up on a photo or video on your Photos app, it shows you like the size of the file. It literally said like 40 gigabytes, but I think like YouTube compresses it as it's uploading it, because YouTube has like all these different compression algorithms, and like, they're obviously having to accept uploads of hundreds of hours of footage every hour of every day. So, of course they're going to try to compress that, because even they only have so much space in their servers. I mean, supposedly. So this is just hearsay, but now we're getting down to the pricing of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let's look up what the iPhone 13 Pro Max price. I'll just go off of the 1 terabyte size. You're looking at $1,600. It's like that's a lot. Okay, so a popular leaker has been sharing some information about the iPhone 14. A few alleged specifications are offered in the relevant posts, which throw up a couple of questions, and these are joined by the purported starting prices for the upcoming iPhones. So the leaker at the Galax underline, that's his Twitter handle, states figures of $800 and $899 for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus, respectively, while $1,100 is apparently required for the base model of the iPhone 14 Pro, and accordingly, the starting price for the iPhone 14 Pro Max is $1,200, which I believe would be the 256 gigabyte model. I think I'm going to go for the 512. So if these price tags are accurate, which if I had to guess, they probably are, because they probably don't want to move the price up like another $100 or $200 each for these models, because they, probably have a lot of pricing pressure on them. The most expensive iPhone 14 Pro Max with a 1 terabyte storage option, which to me, for most people, is overkill, and you should get like the 512. I don't really care what color you get, obviously, because if you're going to be spending that much on your phone, you should probably have a pretty dang good case on it, right? I mean, we've all seen the meme or had it happen to us over the years where you drop your iPhone and crack. No matter how much they say the glass is better and top tier and whatnot, it's not life proof. So they're saying it's $1,700 for that iPhone 14 Pro Max with a 1 terabyte storage option. So this would actually make it the most expensive iPhone ever released. So at the Galax mentions that the iPhone 14 Pro Max will have up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, while others have gone with 6 gigabytes. So what are they saying for the cameras? So for the cameras, they're saying 12 megapixels, which sucks. Samsung Galaxy S22 camera. Okay, like the this is, I mean, it's just crazy to me. Okay, so this is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which was released February 25th, 2022. It has a quad camera on the back, and the high-end camera on that is 108 megapixels, and the front-facing camera is 40. and it had 8 gigabytes of RAM. So like, might actually be a year or two ahead of Apple, but that's besides the point. I mean, like, this camera has a 12 megapixel camera on the back, and I think that's still like insane. Like, to me, one of my favorite things to do is, like, you know, you go outside and like you zoom in on like a leaf or whatever, where you're able to see like the plant cells on it. That's a pretty cool photo. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. This has been your host, Luke. Hopefully, if you're deciding to wait or not for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, like I was saying earlier, I'd say it's worth that, because right now we're only looking at 2 months and 20 days until then. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Have a good day. Peace out.